Before you click off this video, I want your takeaway to be one thing. Stop putting your energy into things you can't control and put 100% of your focus, your time, your energy, your emotional reserves into the things you actually can control. There you go. There's the message of this video. If you want to click off, you've heard the important thing, you can click off. But for anyone who wants to stay, what I'm going to talk about in this video is how most people, probably 99.99% of people, including myself 1 year ago, put all of their energy or most of their energy into things that they have no control over whatsoever, and the impacts that has on your happiness, your health, and your productivity. A few days ago, I borrowed this book from the library. It's not actually mine. I'm not going to show you the side of it because someone will figure out which library I borrowed it from and then they'll come to my house. But I borrowed that book called The Let Them Theory a few days ago. And I will say it is probably one of the best books I've ever read on, I don't know if I'd call it mental health, just like a life organization, like just getting like the best, one of the best self-improvement books, we'll say. And the reason it's so good is because it talks about an idea that I've kind of, thought about and I've learned a little bit about, which is effectively stoicism. It's about completely ignoring and putting no value at all on the things you can't control and putting 100% of your energy on what you actually can control. So let me give you an example for a second so you actually understand what I'm talking about. Let's say that you drop, this is a very common example. Let's say you drop your phone on the ground, right? Completely smashes. I'm not going to do a demonstration because I'm actually using my phone to record. But let's say someone just completely annihilates your phone, or you just drop it on the ground. Let's go with the second one so that there's no other people involved. What most people would do is they would get they'd get angry, they'd get frustrated, stressed, they'd maybe cry, like they'd feel all these negative emotions immediately. I want you to ask yourself, what actual impact does getting angry, getting stressed have on your life? Is that going to fix your phone? Is that going to make the cracks disappear? Is that going to bring back is that going to repair the battery of your, I don't know how phones work. Is that going to actually fix your phone in any way? No, it's going to do absolutely nothing. What it is going to do is it's going to make you feel worse. It's going to embarrass you more if it's in public, and it's going to make it harder for you to actually problem solve. Let's say you break your phone and you're in the middle of nowhere. So now you don't even have a way of calling someone or looking at Google Maps, or you're in some area you don't know. Now you have to find a map, or you have to ask someone, or you have to actually do something to figure out where you are. And getting stressed isn't going to do that. Another very common example is when you're in traffic and someone almost hits you, or you have to swerve to avoid someone. What a lot of people will do, and this is probably you as well, is they'll ruminate about that and they'll get angry and they'll lean on the horn, they'll keep thinking about that over and over. And it's like, that isn't actually helping you do anything. That is just making you more stressed and more angry and more likely to have a second accident. That's actually the most common time for an accident, is after a near miss or another accident, because people are turkey necking, they're stressing about it, they're thinking about it, they're not actually paying attention. So the point of that rant, it was kind of a rant, is for me to explain to you that letting your emotions take over and getting angry, stressed, all these other things whenever something bad happens is the opposite of what you want to do. What you want to do is to remain as stoic and calm as possible and to put 100% of your focus on the things you actually can control. So let's go back to that phone example for a second. Let's say you drop your phone, absolutely annihilated, there's no coming back from it, you're going to have to bury it tomorrow, like your phone's cooked, right? Instead of getting angry, what you should do is think about what you actually have control over. Can't go back in time, can't fix the phone. But what you can do is control your reaction to it. You actually have complete control over, like I've had disagreements with stupid people over this. You actually have 100% control over how you react. You've just never been told this before, and so you've never actually used it. The next time something like that happens, maintain 100% control over your reactions. Stay completely calm. Recognize the fact that the bad thing that's happened isn't in the present anymore. It's in the past. There's nothing you can do about it. And go into problem-solving mode. One of the things that annoys me about so many people is they aren't problem solvers. Whenever something goes wrong, they're what I call problem spectators, which means when something bad happens, they focus on the bad side. They focus on the actual bad thing. Like, oh my God, my phone's broken now. Now I don't know where I am and I can't look it up. They focus on that instead of actually rectifying the problem by figuring out, okay, now my phone's broken. Now what do I need to do to fix the problem? Am I going to have to go and ask someone? Am I going to have to go and, buy a map? Etc., etc., whatever actually needs to be done to fix the problem. So the next time you break your phone or anything bad happens, I want you to actually think about what you can do to rectify the situation. What would be the best possible thing you can do to make the situation better? And you'll find 100% of the time, with no exception, the best thing that you could possibly do has absolutely nothing to do with your emotions and your emotional response and your our innate tendency to just like lose it and get emotional and not actually focus on what we can do to improve it. And you see this in all areas of life. Something that gets mentioned a lot in this book is the author's issue with her friends at the start. And that's actually something I relate to as well, and I think most people relate to. Like when you see pictures of something that you weren't invited to, or when you, like a friend annoys you. I know we've talked about that in a previous video. I'll have it pop up on the screen right now. But when another person annoys you, that can actually be even harder than when you break something, because now there's a second person involved. When someone makes you feel bad, you actually sort of, it's in our human condition to get angry and to get stressed and to feel violent or anything like that, because it's all evolutionary. If somebody does harm to us, we feel an innate like surge of anger, like, are we going to have to deal with this person using violence? And of course, that's not how it works in the modern day. So when somebody leaves you out of something and you feel sad or angry or, you know, lonely or anything like that, because you feel like you've been excluded, which is totally normal, instead of feeling that emotion, what you should actually do, it's just the title of this book, which is Let Them. It's to not give a single crap about what anyone else does. If somebody leaves you out of something, you should be like, yeah, that's fine. Like, just let them, it's fine. I think the reason so many people struggle with that, and you might struggle with that as well, you might hear me say, you know, let them leave me out of something, and you might think, well, no, I can't let them leave me out of something that makes me feel really sad. And I understand that. I have a heart for that, because I used to be that way. And I'll tell you why you think that way. It's because you're not the main character in your own life. You're putting too much value on external things that have no actual impact on you. If you're like me a few years ago, I'm not very old. A few years ago, I was still in high school. If you're like me or the majority of people, and you put tons and tons of value on the people around you who are really only there out of proximity. Like if you think about, you know, being in an Australian public high school, which I think my main demographic is in the US, but I've got a sizable Australian demographic, obviously, because I'm from Australia. For any of you watching who are in an Australian public high school, you know exactly what it was like, and you know that you're basically, all the people you're surrounded by are out of proximity. There's no sort of like, you're not surrounded by people who are like you in regards to how they think. It's just it's complete proximity, right? It's just who you live next to. And the thing about that is that you're going to have, because these people, the people you associate with and your friends you haven't selected them because of your similarities largely. It's out of proximity. I worded that badly, but you get what I'm saying. Because of that, the nature of those friendships, you're obviously going to have tons of problems, which everyone does. And when you get left out of things, because you place so much value on your relationships with other people, it can feel really bad. And I found the solution to that, which was not even the solution to that, just the solution to caring less what other people think and what other people do, and just focusing on my reactions to things and how I run my own life. And the solution to that was to put more of my mental energy into my own life and put less of it into other people's lives. It's sort of like you have a finite amount of mental energy that you can put into things. And for a lot of people, they put it into so many other things, like this friendship, this sounds bad because it sounds like I'm almost saying neglect your friends. I'm not. I'm just saying so many people put so much of their self-worth and their mental energy into low quality people and into things that they have no control over, and they get extremely angry whenever someone swerves and misses them instead of ignoring it. That just shows that you have no real things that you're actually putting your energy and your time into. If you had actual goals that scare you, which is another video I'm about to make, you wouldn't care that much that somebody left you out of something. If you had something purposeful that you were working on, you wouldn't care that you saw a picture of something that you weren't invited to. If you were trying to gain 5 kilos before the end of the year in the gym, you wouldn't care as much that these stupid little things are happening. And I think that's the final thing I'm going to say in this video, because in this book, actually, it's not just let them. Very quickly in the book, the author writes that let them is the first half of the theory. The second half is actually let me. So not only should you care less and put way less energy into the things that other people do that might affect you, you actually need to put all of your energy into building yourself into the best possible person. That doesn't mean being selfish at all. You can still be a selfless person. It just means having the mental capacity to not put your energy into things that aren't going to serve you. Like, as soon as you put your energy into drama or any kind of rubbish, that isn't serving you at all. As soon as you put your energy into worrying about how you just broke your phone, or you almost crashed your car, or someone was rude to you, someone insulted you, as soon as you start putting value on those things, it doesn't serve you in any way. So there's no reason to do that. What you should be putting value on is your goals, on high quality people, and on other things that actually serve you in life. So just remember the second part of that theory as well, the let me side of the theory, which is you need to be focusing on, I worded that a bit poorly, but essentially, if you actually had things, if you're actually putting your energy into things that were important for you, like being a better person, self-improvement, setting goals, spending time with high quality people, you would not have as much of an issue with other people annoying you. You just wouldn't. And I think that is the reason why people are so affected by it. I'll link another video in the description actually to do with being a more selectively selfish person, which sounds bad, but you'll have to watch the video to fully understand. But guys, ebook linked in the description. Bit of a rant today. I didn't really plan what I was writing. I just put this book next to me and said, let's talk about it. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.